Good morning. This is David Plazas, Community Conversation Editor of the News Press, and we are here on June 13th, 2012, and have the privilege of having Les Cochran, who is running for School Board of Lee County, District 3. Editorial board members, for the record, would you please introduce yourselves?
Roy Hyman, past member of the editorial board from Bonita Springs.
I'm Dick Calfish from Cape Coral.
Good. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cochran. We appreciate you being here. And tell us, why are you running for school board?
I'm going crazy. That question pops up a lot, and quite frankly, it's something that I've given a lot of consideration to, and I guess the bottom line is it's in my DNA. You know, I've done this for 38 years, and when you retire someday, David, you'll find you don't separate your former life. Some people try to, but you don't. And so it comes from who I am, the things I believe, and then the digging and the research that I found in the last couple of years makes me have great confidence that I can make a difference. And I've talked to Joe, I've talked to board members, and I think there's a sense of readiness, so to speak, on the board, but I think we really need some strong leadership, and that's one of the strengths I think that I bring to the board.
Sure, you've talked about digging in and so forth. You've been in the community for a few years. What are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see for this school district, and especially if you're elected as a board member?
Well, there are numerous challenges and opportunities. I think that, first of all, we need to come together as a board. The board is fractured, and that's not uncommon, but I think with this election, a new superintendent, we need to sit down and essentially have a retreat. And there are people that you can contact, professionals to bring in and say, how do we provide leadership as a team? And this is all about team and leadership. And so that's a significant step that we have to go forward. And we have to give the community a sense of where we're going. One of the things that I did when I was at Youngstown State, we inherited an institution that was $6 million in the red. And I can talk about that a little later. But we did a mini plan, not a long document, but of 3 or 4 major issues, and we gave to the campus 5 pages, this little document that said, here's where we want to be in a few years. We don't have all the details, but it gave a sense to the community. It gave a sense to the staff of where we're going, because change is enormously frightful and fearful of particularly employees and the community. And so we have some issues, and busing is an issue, the quality of our schools is an issue, how we run them, all of those things are issues. But I think that significantly the board comes together, gains some leadership skills, and then develops a mini strategic plan so the people know where we're going. If you're going to stop or cut down or modify busing, what does it look like? You know, not just say, well, we're going to do this. And so I think those are a couple things that, maybe to start with, that I would give you a sense of where I'm coming from.
July 1st is the 1-year anniversary of Dr. Burke as superintendent here in the school district. From your observations and conversations, what is your assessment of his performance and his leadership?
I think he's done a good job, particularly within the context of what he has to deal with. And it's not easy when you have a split board. So what that means is he's not been able to venture out and provide the kind of leadership that we've talked about when I developed this. I said, Joe, are there things in here that you can't support? Because I'm not running, if it doesn't make sense from you. I'm not the superintendent, but I want to guide and work with you. And so there are a lot of things he believes in, but when you have a split board, as a superintendent, the joke is you get 2 negative votes on significant items, and you start preparing your application. So Joe hasn't taken on the tough nut to crack. I understand that, because you can't get there when you're waffling. So that's an issue. He is getting stonewalled like unbelievable. I've watched board meetings, and for example, as you may know, I wrote an article on Tice. When the staff recommendation was we want to close Tice and bus 460 kids. And as you may recall in that editorial or op-ed, I proposed, after talking with the teachers and people in that community, of how rich of a source this could be. The staff recommendation was to close it. And so that just gives you an indication of the kinds of things that are going on inside the organization. So I give them good marks. You know, there are issues, I'd say a B. Everybody in schools like to grade things. But there are a lot of things that he needs to know that they're board with him and directions that we can move in.
But you wouldn't be a rubber stamp for his issues.
I've worked on 12 different community boards, from Ronald McDonald to Chambers of Commerce or whatever it is, and I understand the role of a board member. Now, I got called on the task by the Vindicator in Youngstown after 8 years of saying, you always have unanimous votes. Why is it that you have unanimous votes? Well, it's not because I have a rubber stamp board. It is because I work hard at that and try to find the common ground. And I think that's what board members need to do. What is the common ground that we all believe in, that we can get Joe involved in and let him provide the leadership? And when we do, and that little 5-page, then it's our job to support. We've signed off. But this tension that goes is not productive for him or for the community or for the staff. Everyone says, what are we doing? And that makes the teachers nervous, the staff nervous.
Mr. Cochran, good morning again.
Hi there.
When Dr. Burke was hired, there were specific challenges that he was faced with, problems. Now we're sometime down the road. Has he accomplished any of that? Because you said that he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he is. I think one of the things that you want for in a first year is to say, and reflecting back, what has the person done? Well, I have seen him in numerous community groups. It's important to listen, to learn, and to lead. The 3 L's that I used to have in my own philosophy. I've seen him doing that. Has he jumped out on a major issue? No, I don't think we're ready. I'd like to have seen that happen, but it takes time to develop a sense of understanding and direction. And again, we're dealing with some of the issues that I've seen. I think he has provided leadership on issues that have come before him, and he's dealt with them. More in a management style, more in a finding a sense of direction. And as I've said to him, Joe, now's the time. You've got your feet on the ground. You have a good sense of who we are.
And he said,
I'm ready. I'm ready to take
tackle
action.
The problems that he was handed a year ago.
Yes.
People are saying that if there was less money for the non-classroom people, that would free up some bucks for the classroom people. How do you feel about that?
I feel very strongly. There are, in any organization, when you come on board, did this at Youngstown and whatever career either any of you may have been in, there are certain indicators. You look at how do we stack up with others. For example, the $50 million that we spend in transportation. How do we stack up? Well, we spend about double per capita of any other school district in the state. That rings a bell. Didn't say that's a solution, but that says that's something that we need to look at. It rings a bell when you have a higher proportion of your dollars going into administrative costs than most school districts in the state. Not that that's all bad, but it rings a bell. And this is the major bell that rings when I did my analysis. The average amount of dollars, as you've just asked, devoted to instruction in the state is 65% of the operating budget. Lee County Schools dedicates 57%. That's 8% difference. $60 million that I think we're shortchanging the kids and the instructional program. So we got $60 million there just to get to the average funding.
Have you any idea what Dr. Burke feels about that?
He's aware of that,
One
yes,
moment.
thank you.